Okay, welcome back to the second part of the introduction to orthographic images. Just going to move these two that I created here. In fact, I'm going to move these three that I created here because I no longer need them. So I'm just going to click on them and drag them back into my ruler. Okay, we'll leave that one there. Okay, so I now need to kind of separate out the central section and where our we get our curved areas. So I think I'm going to just create another. I want to move it over to this side. This will just be as a guide to get the height more than anything. This is going to appear on both sides. So this is our central line, so let's just get rid of this one for now. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to use the pen tool to come into kind of like a high point here. So just dragging out and then dropping down. Okay, so we get a shape like that. Make a selection, and we're going to stroke that layer as well. Okay, so we have that now. What we can do is we can hold down Alt and Shift. So Alt will allow us to kind of create a duplicate and move it around anywhere, where Alt and Shift will allow us to create one but only constrain it to the X-axis. So let's just move that to the edge there, and let's just get rid of most of this. And again we'll do the same, going back to our first layer, Alt and Shift. Oop. Make sure I don't select the thing. Move that there, and then we'll move it again, and again we'll just get rid of the excess we don't need. And you can see we do have an issue with these because this section isn't going quite up to the top, so what we probably want to do for these is actually redraw the shape. Okay, so go back in and redraw the shape. It's fine on these bits, it does touch. So I'm going to create another point here just so I've got something to constrain it to. Okay, if I now click here, it will actually create a curve based on this anchor point here. So I just hold down Alt and click on that to get rid of the anchor point, which will allow me to create a square, sort of a right angle there. Okay, so make selection again. What we need to do is we need to make sure we go into another layer. Now let's just stroke that layer as well. Okay, we'll go back to our this one here. We'll delete this one, and what we'll do is we'll duplicate this, move it over. For some reason we've got a greater distance there, which I don't quite know why. Don't think we actually created an even section there actually. So what we'll do is we can see we've made a mistake, so I'm in fact going to go back completely to this one. Let's get rid of this and actually let's redraw this on this side. Actually drag it right out to the this point, just on matching that one. Let's make a selection. just stroke that. We won't bother creating a new layer. Does look a little odd, but it is going up to the edge. So let's just merge these down, make them all one. Actually, let's delete this half again. Let's duplicate this, so we can either right click and go to duplicate layer, or we can just drag this layer down onto another layer and it will create a copy. Okay, let's move this one over. It's actually in the same place, so let's just go to transform and duplicate horizontal. And there we go, get a better match there. We can merge this one down again there. Now, okay, so filter, let's go to use our rubber tool again. And for some reason I've lost my cursor, so I'll just make sure I get my cursor back. Okay, I've got my cursor back. Looked like I just had the pixel aspect ratio as well turned weird, so I just need to go correct that. Okay, so I'm back on the arrays, and what I should really have done actually is I should have done this before, actually merging these down, because I'm going to have a bit of issue with this line here. But I'm just going to try and delete this line. I don't massively need my guides anymore, so I'm not going to clear guides. I'm just going to try and rub out as neatly as I can these edges, and I think it's going to be a complete nightmare. So I might actually want to go in, bring back my guides, and actually kind of recreate these and then delete the guides. Or alternatively I could just leave that line in, it's not causing me too many issues and I can just kind of ignore it. The other thing I want to maybe to put in is add in the just kind of where the white strip is. Also you can see bit that I've completely missed is the fact that it has a kink in it as well. So really what I probably need to start thinking about is actually how I can redraw this section here as well, to have the kinked area within it, which is going to mean kind of erasing a lot of areas. So just because I know that that kink area is there, and again I can make an ethical sort of conscious decision to just leave it straight rather than having that weird kink. But if you want to have it more precise, you want to be more precise in your modelling and sort of how you analyse things and how you reinterpret them, which is what's going to be expected of you within the industry. You want to kind of set up a good practice system right from the beginning of trying to do things as well as possible. Obviously this is a tutorial and I'm running through it probably quicker than I would normally do if I was creating it myself, because I'm having to have that extra process of explaining it to you as well. Okay, so looking at that kind of where that kink is, let's just have a look at what that does to the shape. So we've got kind of like a steeper sweep and then a narrower point there. Okay, so what we would do for this is actually probably re-put in another line that kind of goes in a little bit further. Than this, and then create a point there and a point at the top, and let's just have it go over to the edge like that. So this is just really about correcting any mistakes now. Make selection, And what we'll do is we'll stroke that layer and deselect this, and we'll work out that the kind of kink point is going to be a bit further down. I'm not over keen on that, so let's just go back. In fact, what I want to do is, let's get rid of that one. Let's actually move that right into the centre there. I much prefer that line. Mix selection, let's stroke that again. Don't be afraid about going back and actually correcting any areas. Okay, now what I want to do is adding another point here. It's kind of the way my original base was, and then working out kind of where this goes down now. In fact, if I work out where this intersects, it's probably somewhere about here. I can actually work out my intersect point here, which is about there. Okay, I'm going to go across from there to there, and to this point, and then back to our original point. Create a new layer. So it's now starting to get a little confusing. Make selection, and let's drop this layer as well. Okay, so what I need to do first is I need to go back to my original. I need to kind of wipe out everything kind of below this point here. Okay, now I need to, let's just actually wipe out the whole half of it so I can concentrate a little bit more. Wipe out that and that too. Okay, and then this point here can go on this one. And then this point here can go on this one. Okay, so I'm getting my kink back there, and I can then just merge down and merge down. Do the same as I did before, just duplicate this and transform horizontal. And if I'll just save for now. You can find this this Photoshop file as well to view yourself. Just clear guides. You can see we have that kind of kink in the cone there. Just need to get rid of these sections down around here, which what I will do for that one is actually kind of go back get rid of that and then just kind of repeat my process again. Merged out, duplicate over, merge it down again, okay, so we have, for what's a kind of a rough orthographic interpretation of this cone here. Might not be 100% accurate, but it's kind of quite near. Things we are missing, if we're looking at it closely, this is actually curved here, which adjustments you could make while modelling. We could do another orthographic version which shows it just from kind of this side looking into this sort of gap, so we can better judge kind of how this gap works. But that is it for the side view. So the next section we're going to be looking at is actually creating the top-down orthographic view of this cone.